Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are here with d2kemps and Wolfman 2000, who are going to be playing Lenna's Inception as a race for us. And we have some wonderful commentators prepared for that, and I think I'm going to pass it over to them so they can get y'all started.
Hello.
So, I'm Tetra, and I'm joined here with Lori D. Bunningkins, and we're going to be commentating this Lenna's Inception perfect ending race.
I just did a very grand hand gesture, even though I am not visible. But yeah, this is Lenna's Inception. It came out at the beginning of this year, and it is very fun. Definitely, if you've been a part of the speedrunning scene in the past, several years, you probably know about Zelda randomizers. What if that was just its own indie game? That's kind of the concept here. It's a very unique game that plays a lot like older Zelda titles, and is by nature procedurally generated. So, going in the major thing in the category, Blind Seed, we're about to see the two racers play a generated world that they've never played through before. Which we can talk more about what that means, kind of routing-wise, as we get into the run.
Hey, but I think before we do that, we're going to need to know what graphics style we're doing, and what seed name.
Yeah.
Well, for seed name, we have Ragnarok, RAGN4ROK.
Excellent choice.
Yes, very appropriate. I can spell it again slower if you need me to.
We need the style before we can get that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going with the order they were in here. Graphics version is 16-bit. We are going old school.
So 8-bit?
16. Oh.
I don't know. I'm not hearing it.
Okay. I guess 8s. It said 16 and 30.
What were the options on the style?
16 and 32.
16
Okay.
and 32.
Well,
okay.
Then it's 8. Sorry.
That's okay.
We must have submitted the wrong style.
No, you just added the two of them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shall we just, since we messed up, shall we just compromise and do it our old-fashioned ways of racing then, Kemps?
No, I'm already in 8-bit.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's the player name?
Player name is Azu, A-Z-U.
I am not hearing what the player name is.
Oh, sorry. A-Z-U.
A-Z-U.
Yes.
Please make sure I spelled it right.
Yes.
I'm checking on the screen.
You're good.
Yep.
Then, when Kemps is ready,
The world
where
seed
are we
is...
traveling?
The world seed is Ragnarok, RAGN4ROK.
Capitalization?
It's all caps.
It's all caps.
I didn't even hear it the first time, so I don't know who's speaking.
RAGN4ROK.
In all caps.
Okay. Maybe I have a separate Discord issue because I never heard who said that in the first place. My apologies.
Yeah, there's someone I think on your end you might not be able to hear right now.
Who should I double check? I don't
Margaret
know.
and...
Also, Wolfman, I think this is coming through on stream too, but your mic is really, really staticky.
It shouldn't be, but it's not gonna matter. Or about to be sent away.
Okay, but your seeds all look correct. I'm going to just relay that.
Thank
yeah,
you.
the spelling looks correct, so.
And so we're probably ready for a countdown pretty soon?
Mhm.
All right, I'll do the honors unless anyone else wants to. So let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so okay, pretty interesting start. That very first screen is the school, which is where we start the game, and that immediately tells us something very important, which is the order we're going to be finding items in. This being a randomized world layout, you're not always going to see the same items in the same order every time, so it's important to know when you're going to get certain items, and thankfully, due to that first screen, you can tell immediately what your item order is going to be.
We go through some of the throwbacks to the original Zelda game, where you see the old man with the "it's dangerous to go alone," but unfortunately, he's not going to live to see the tale. Both of the runners are picking up a bicycle, which allows for fast warping as they go into the first level. In the first level, they're going to be looking for a sword as their item. And I believe both of them are going to be doing a level order where the first couple of levels, they'll actually take care of the boss all at the same time. But then we'll be going back for the boss, just picking up the item and coming back for the boss later in the game.
I believe that might be the route in a different ending. For this ending, which actually that's something that's worth explaining, is perfect ending. There are 3 endings in this game, 3 distinct endings, and each of them are very different in what you have to do to achieve them. Perfect ending is kind of the closest one you see to 100% when it comes to categories in this game, where you have to do a lot of side quests and a lot of really weird things in order to get this one finished.
That's right, and it looks like both of them are checking the cheap tunic from the shop, and it looks like it's going to be blast protection today. The ideal one that they would want is probably either a speed tunic for speed, or something that lets you double damage or defense, but instead what they'll be doing is going to Paige the librarian, and we'll be seeing more of her later on in this seed, but for right now, they're just going to get the map so that they know where level 2 through 4 are on the west side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So as Laurie said, this game just came out earlier this year. It's relatively new, but it's gotten a lot of traction within the community, is because it has a lot of elements similar to a randomizer, in that the entire overworld and almost all of the levels are completely procedurally generated according to particular algorithms and formulas to make them kind of feel more like classic Zelda dungeons. And as you can see by the graphics, it's very much inspired by the sort of 8-bit, Link's Awakening era Zelda games as well.
Yeah, and then we did have the bid war involving the art style. I think this game was originally only going to be available in 8-bit, but then thanks to something, or either thanks to something that I can't think of, or just based on how long this game took, they were able to also implement like a 32-bit style like you see in the Minish Cap or something like that.
Yeah,
So-
they hit a pretty huge goal on their Kickstarter or whatever it was they used for funding.
Yeah, I don't know
Wow.
if it was a Kickstarter goal or if it was something else, but...
Wow, look at the sync as they go into level 2, almost perfectly in sync, but going to be taking opposite paths as they go through.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I lied. It looks like Wolfman is going back to the right.
Yeah, Wolfman immediately encounters a dead end. That's one of the things that happens. Just you sometimes hit a dead end, can't do anything. Gotta go back and...
Yeah, because unlike a speedrun, both of these folks... Oh, looks like Kemps just found the boss for level 2. Or the mini one for getting the item. But it's worth pointing out that since these levels are procedurally generated, kind of like with the randomizer, you do have, both of the runners are going through these dungeons for the very first time. So they're just kind of feeling them out, and they'll be taking wrong turns and getting lost and potentially even dying, but that's totally is to be expected.
Yep. I know Tetra and I both have pretty... I mean, I haven't played it in forever, and I don't know how long it's been since you've played, if you've played recently, but we have both played Zelda 1 randomizer a while ago. And fortunately, the dungeons in this game will tell you where you need to go. So if you know anything about Zelda 1 randomizer, this game has nothing like Find That Bomb Hole, or any sort of fun game in the dungeons. That is not fun at all, actually, or a game.
Yeah, definitely have a story about that to tell, but as we can save that for later if we have time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like both of them, like I said, they picked up the dungeon item, but because we're kind of doing the equivalent to a pacifist run, if you've ever played Undertale, we're not going to be defeating the bosses. We're going to be finding the items that we need to appease them, and then coming back later in the game to face them, but not kill them.
Mm-hmm. And appeasing them also has to deal with these side quests you can do around the world. There are 8 dungeons, so that means 8 bosses, and I think each one, the way it works is kind of corresponds to a side quest. So once you clear one side quest, you gain the sort of criteria to pacify a boss once you obtain the item that allows you to do so. Which is why we can't really do much about bosses in the first part of the game, because we do not have that item yet. One of the more notable side quests that has kind of already started is you'll see Wolfman and Kemps picking up library books. When we talked to Paige to get our dungeon maps, she also gave us a quest to try and find some of the library books that she has lost around the world of Ragnarok. So that's very important. And that kind of ties into drops. You'll see when screens are cleared that items will drop. Items aren't tied to the screen they drop on. Rather, when the world is generated, the order that things drop is generated. So, for example, if you see 2 screens next to each other that both have an item on them, and the next item in your drop is like a book, for example, it doesn't matter what item you get, or what screen you get the item on. It just matters that you finish a screen with an item on it, and the book will drop, and then whatever's after the book will drop regardless of whatever screen you finish next. So it's a very kind of weird drop system, but it allows for the routing to not be annoying in this category, because you are basically guaranteed to find the books instead of having to search around for one specific screen that has the item you want for a side quest.
Yeah, so that way you'd wind up with less backtracking, although there is still going to be some and that you need to complete various side quests. But I think the general strat, correct me if I'm wrong, Lori, but other than the books, they won't focus on getting too much of the items unless they just sort of happen to come across them until after they've gone through and gotten the item from the 8th level, which kind of breaks the game open on multiple levels.
Yeah, that's fairly accurate. I'm not going to talk about that item in particular just yet, because it is kind of crazy. You really kind of need to see it to believe it. but it's definitely a good item for speed, and since the game allows you to go there before doing other things, the game's usually a rush to level 8, but due to the way that map generation works, you can't really get to level 8 without getting the item from 1 through 7, so...
So here we see both Kemps and Wolfman going into the Guild LLC bank with all these skeletons that are kind of investment bankers and the chairman, who we'll see a little bit later. But then they also guard the entrance to level 4, and Wolfman looks like he took a pretty quick express route to find... it looks like this may not be the item boss, or
It is.
The item room? It is,
It is
okay.
the item room. The bow.
And it's the bow. Okay, so that was a very quick level 4 for Wolfman. Now, the thing is, though, he hasn't gone and found the beginning of the level yet, so won't be able to do a quick warp.
Yeah, you
Kemps,
saw-
I think, took the opposite strategy, and Kemps actually found the entrance first, and then we'll be able to do a quicker warp. So they might actually be pretty much closer than they appear to be right now.
Yeah. You saw Wolfman walk to the item and then walk out. Kemp started by finding the exit, so warp's easy. And that's usually the play for dungeons like this. Although, in this case, Wolfman kind of got out lucky based on how fast the item room was in that level 4, but... Yeah, usually something like Kemp did, where you beeline for the dungeon entrance, is a much more common strategy.
Right.
And then you get sent the power of compassion once you beat the 4th dungeon, and that's going to be what's useful for pacifying the bosses once we get around to doing all the side quests we need to do for that.
Speaking of compassion, do we have a second for some donations?
Yeah.
I think so.
Some cutscenes in this part of the game, so it's the perfect time.
So we have $20 from J question mark that says, loving all the runs so far and looking forward to all the ones coming up. This is one of my favorite marathons, and it's a blast to enjoy it with chill chat, cool runners, great staff, and all for a fantastic cause. Please put my donation towards naming the Legend of Mana hero Echo. And then we had a $50 donation from Wildfire. It says, Go Wolfman 2000 and d2kemps. Put this towards winner's choice. They can't hear us right now, but that's a little incentive.
Thank you all for the donations. Looks like Wolfman just found level 5, and it's worth noting that this is the forest or jungle biome or scheme for the level. This makes it a little bit trickier because there's a lot more obstacles in the way. So this is the jungle levels, especially in the other categories, is a little bit dreaded. And it looks like Kemps was making friends with Tressa's family, I think?
Yes.
Which is one of the side quests. I don't know if... I didn't catch whether Wolfman found them on his way in.
I don't believe so. I think Wolfman just kind of found the dungeon. Although, hopefully, based on how quickly Kemps found it, it shouldn't be a problem for Wolfman finding it as well.
Probably not, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like both of them are getting a little bit turned around. Oh, it's that shape, the sort of... The one that looks like a ring, kind of.
Yeah. This one can be annoying because you have to go all the way around. I don't know. Did Wolfman pick up the map?
I saw him pick up the meteor. Kemps picked up the map. Wolfman tends to like picking up meteors because he will donate some amount of money per meteor to charity, I think, when he's doing a marathon run.
Okay.
Which is kind of the joke because you don't actually need meteors.
Yeah, you can upgrade your sword with them, but they're not, like, useful in the run context.
Oh, and of course he's going to pick up another one.
Yep, I saw the map open on Wolfman's screen, and I don't think they picked up the map, but they did just find the item room, so...
Excellent.
That is...
Oh, it's a bird.
It is a bird.
Wow, it's fast.
It is fast.
More burbs.
Gee, I hope somebody's going to teach them wave dashing soon.
Mhm.
Oh no, not that type of bird.
Oh, okay. That is not Falco. Got it. Oh, something we didn't mention is that with dungeons 5 through 8, we're actually officially now on the right side of the map, the East Ragnarok plains, which is basically just the other half of the map. There are some side quests exclusive to this part of the map, but other than that, it's just really, the map size is bigger now.
There's also this random dilapidated train. I've never understood why that's in the game, but
I don't think I know why either.
It got suplexed, that's why.
I see.
Hence the dilapidation.
Okay. That makes sense.
gotcha. So Wolfman's found a deep violet or purple level 6, it looks like. And level 6 is filled with these enemies. A lot of folks in the community like to call it Liz robes, which is a sort of hat tip to the original Wiz robe from the Legend of Zelda game, except if you're on the 32-bit graphics setting, they actually look a lot more like lizards. So that's how they got their name.
And again, kind of thinking about Zelda 1 here, very, very much preferred for me. When they act like Zelda 1 Wiz robes, they act a lot more like the orange ones than the blue ones.
Absolutely. Wolfman also made use of a trick where if you get to, I didn't point this out before, but if you get to the last enemy in a room and you're able to lift it up like one of the snails, the game's engine will count that as being dead or at least not being in play and will drop items or basically treat it like you cleared the room even though you actually haven't. So that's another little speed tech trick that you'll see these folks use. Alright, looks like Wolfman is the first to find the glitchy little mini-boss here, and looks like we have explodey snails with the green effect, which means that they're actually going to, I think, recharge their health, but is able to pick up the last one and get the lighter. So...
Yes, the lighter's very good for movement, because as you just saw there, very briefly on Wolfman's screen, if you have the lighter and you hold down your lighter button, you do this big dash right there. And it is very good for going across screens quickly, as you'd imagine a large dash can do.
Yeah, it kind of acts like boots sort of in this game, in addition to, a candle or other incendiary device. Wolfman looks like he took a wrong turn, so he's going to go right back to where Kemps is here, just north of level 6. We'll have to try a different way.
It looks like Kemps is about to try that same way that Wolfman just went.
Womp womp. Well, it's still very... Even though they might be in level 7 out of 9, we're still pretty early in the race, so don't want to count either of these players out, even if it looks like Wolfman may have 30 second to a minute or so lead at this point. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to mention, with level 7, I was going to talk about keys real quick. Which is, you might have noticed that there was a key picked up in level 6. In dungeons 1 through 5, there is usually only the blue key, and that is the one that the boss is behind in most cases. However, in dungeon 6 onward, there start having more than one keys, and you usually find the item in between finding the second to last key and last key. So if dungeon Dungeon 6 and 7, for example, have two keys, the blue and green, you'll usually find blue and then the item and then the green, which is good for routing, because you know if you find an item room before your first key, it's not going to be the item you're actually looking for. But also keys that are going to become oddly trivial real soon.
Yes, about that. Well, we'll see soon enough. Don't want to spoil the surprise. Wolfman just found the entrance to rescue Dr. Maxwell down here. Uses this little speed tech trick to basically jump across a multiple tile-wide pit. Makes it look really easy, even though it's a little bit of a tricky trick. But and now we'll get a little bit of the backstory about this guy who is Professor Maxwell's lab assistant, Delvin, who had some unfortunate issues with a pizza order that wound up getting 255 pizzas and some integer overflow stuff. So I forget the exact backstory behind it, but there's something to that effect.
That's every detail I remember about it, so...
Okay, good. And you can already see some of the sort of glitchiness around the level, almost as if the world is kind of falling apart, and you'd need some sort of special way to see what's actually going on in the world, so...
There are a lot of graphics effects going on in this section, and a very good deal of these, if you're playing through this game for the first time, can be turned off if this layout, like, looks like it hurts your eyes or something. I know I play with a lot of settings off, so this dungeon never quite looks like this for me, but regardless, there is still notably a lot of glitchy effects going on in this dungeon that, as you mentioned with pizza overflows, does tie into the story of the game. In our wrong turn that both racers took earlier, you saw a glimpse of Glitch City, which is somewhere that is important to be later in the run.
Well, while we're dealing with some glitches here, do you have a moment to, or can I mention something?
Yeah, this would be a great time.
So, after this, we have our ambassador program panel with Dr. Kelly Dunlap from Take This. And we are taking questions on Twitter for that. So if you have any questions you'd like to know about Take This's ambassador program or anything that they do, please tweet the question at us so we can ask. And hopefully the questions won't be nearly as glitchy as this.
Yeah, let's hope not. So Wolfman just found the missing glasses, which is the item we were alluding to before, that lets you essentially screen scroll through, go across the edges of screens. It's kind of an homage to the screen scroll trick in Legend of Zelda 1. Wolfman also did find the secret room of the level. Each levels 4 through 8 has a secret room, and most of them don't have a useful item, but one of the items, a revolver, is great for skipping a particular boss fight at the end. Are you allowed to use a revolver in Perfect Ending? I forget.
I will be quite honest, I am not sure. Although I don't know if that was just Wolfman's way of going to the entrance by going all the way around like that, but I'd assume that due to looking through secret rooms that they're probably looking for the revolver, if not some sort of other hidden item, because usually the other hidden items aren't like too useful in a run setting. So if you're looking for secret rooms, it's usually the revolver.
Exactly. So we have Kemps about to pick up his glasses, and Wolfman just entered in the palace, sort of the 9th level. It's a little bit different in that the layout is not randomized, unlike almost the entire rest of the game. So you'll see them take a very specific path through it. It's going to take a little bit of pit stop to look for books, I guess.
Also picked up a tunic in this part of the game, and it's the defense tunic.
Ooh, nice find. Yeah, that can be particularly useful in a perfect ending, since they aren't going to be getting all of the heart containers that you would in a sacrifice run. So health definitely is a big issue.
Yep.
Yeah, the path that Wolfman is taking took me a long time to do casually. It's very windy and mazy. So just the fact that Wolfman can do this in basically a little bit more than a minute, is pretty impressive. But is not going to go finish the rest, and now is going to, I believe, start working on the side quests, I think.
Yep. So I'm trying to think of which ones we've seen. We have the book ones. I mentioned finding the books for Paige the Librarian. We found the potion shop, so we can work on finding Tressa, who is one of the siblings that works there, that is not currently there. And there is one of the two runners stepped into a cottage with some bears in it, and that is one of the side
The Goldilocks one.
Yes, the Three Bears cottage. Yes, bears.
It's a bear?
Bears.
It's a bear. It's a bear. It's a bear. Yeah, there are bears in this game.
Yay, bears!
Yay.
And it looks like Wolfman is going all throughout Glitch City here, and I don't know exactly what they're looking for at this point, but... Oh,
From what I noticed, it seemed like they picked up a very good number of books while they were here. So
yeah, books can sometimes be an issue. I see Kemps just found the moving shop guy.
yeah, the traveling merchant's very good.
Traveling merchant, yeah, thank you.
Oh, there's also that side quest person, I guess. Oh, the lumberjack, right. Okay, Wolfman found the lumberjack in Glitch City. That's one of the side quests as well. You need to get an axe from a lumberjack, and then there are, I believe, some screens that have weird-looking trees, and you need to cut down at least one of the trees for the lumberjack's quest. Didn't recognize him at first because I am very used to 32-bit style, but that's a good find.
Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer 8-bit personally, but it's very much a, the sprites and music are different, but it's just aesthetics really that are different between them. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all.
Yep. It's also just, some things look very different between the two. I know there's one boss in particular that is like a huge visual difference. Well, most of them are, but there's one I'm thinking of in particular.
The one that's Nightmare Fuel on 8-bit? Catseal?
Yeah!
We'll see Catseal later.
We'll see Catseal.
I'm biased because it's a cat boss, and I like
it's great. I love Catseal. They're just Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so it looks like Wolfman was able to pick up Paige as the NPC here. Paige literally throws the book at enemies. That's like her weapon, being the librarian. So I think you're getting pretty close to the 12 you need to go on the the date with Paige?
I saw the number in that text box. Wolfman has 11.
11. Okay, so very
So,
close.
Very close, yeah. Definitely a good time to go pick up Paige.
And speaking of a good time, we have $100 from Jason115. No comments, but I thought it would be a good time to put that in. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it was a good time. The side quest portion of the run is very hectic because it's a lot of warping around screens in very short amount of time, but you're also not sure if you're gonna find anything. So it's always like, wow, like a lot of movement, but who knows what's happening at any given time.
Hopefully the players know.
Yeah, I know. Here's the Three Bears cottage that I mentioned earlier, by the way. There's this rowdy thief that's not Goldilocks. It's the original character.
It's essentially Goldilocks. I mean, just changed enough to...
It's an original character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow hair.
Yeah! Rapunzel.
Just right.
Yeah. So, on top of that, you saw on both screens a person that they gave a bottle of water, and that person gave them an item. It starts a fetch quest, that's another one of the side quests you need to do, kind of reminiscent of the giant Yoshi doll magnifying glass side quest from Link's Awakening.
Have we mentioned yet how much this game is inspired by the 2D Zelda games?
Not quite enough. We can always stand to hear it a few more times.
Yep. Alright, well, it looks like Kemps is getting into a little bit of trouble writing with spelling of Tressa's brothers. The plot of this is actually you have to impersonate Tressa in order to get the bank to get, access to her bank account or something like that. So now Kemps is just going to go in and basically rob the bank here. And I don't know if he's going to also get that tunic back there, but...
Probably.
Yeah.
Kemps, I'm
Might
pretty
as well
sure,
check
has
it.
not done the dive into the palace. Like Wolfman has, if I recall correctly. So Kemps does not know about the defense tunic in there. But we'll see what this tunic is. Frugal. Okay, it looks like Kemps is just going back to the blast protection, though.
Yeah, don't blame him. Oh yeah, and then they're doing the side quest where you invest in your stonks, and you have... I forget it. You need to withdraw $999, and then the 1,000th you get an IOU instead, and then that's one of the items you need to pacify a boss.
Yep. Trying to take a look at this list I have and see exactly what we have in terms of side quests. Both of them have Paige, and a good number of books, I believe. Don't remember if Wolfman has yet picked up the 12th book, but I think that one that Kemps just got right there, if I read the text box right, was his 11th. So... Yep, and that is the 12th book for Kemps.
I think the books are one of my favorite things in this game.
Yeah, the books are great. We haven't talked about the actual contents of the books, but every time you find one, it does actually have its own things. And some of them are cool. Some of them are a bestiary is one of them. And a few other things about characters are mentioned. But then there are also some funny ones. I know there is 2 different skeleton raps, I believe.
I think I saw one that was like a soap opera or something. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
My favorite feature is when you can use the phone to dial things in game and actually order a pizza that comes later on in your game.
Mm-hmm.
Earthbound!
So now Kemps is also sort of combining the task where he's trying to get enough those little squishy marshmallow for Paige, along with doing the hallucination room where you basically just sort of do a grind through all sorts of different types of bosses. Combining the two together saves a little bit of time, and Wolfman looks like they're using the same strat over on his side of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Kemp's already going through the date section. You see Wolfman, once you get the 12 books, you need 10 marshmallows from Pig Slime. So that's why Wolfman has left the room like twice to reset the arena, is to reset the part where you get the pink slimes.
Right, exactly. And while they're just sort of taking care of all these enemies one wave after another, now would probably be a great time for any announcements or donations.
Well, we have $5 from Dotface with no comment. Thank you for that. We have $50 from Hoopfin that says, "Have monies!" Thank you for the dollars. And I do want to say that we are probably not going to take too many more questions. So if you have questions about the Ambassador program, now would be the time. If you have monies you'd like to throw at us, we have plenty of bid wars. Rare. I don't think any of us Valkyries have ever seen them in the wild. So, who knows? Maybe some of the ones that we have from Take This for the marathon are the ultra rare shields.
Well, that's so cool. Where's the information about how I can donate to be entered in to win one of those?
Well, if you type $donate in chat, or if you click the link as it appears, you can go to our SRC page, you can donate some money, and if you want to see those prizes, you can type $prizes. Sorry, I meant exclamation mark. I can speak, really. It's hard. Exclamation mark, prizes, and then you can see some of the incentives that we have if you type exclamation point incentives.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thanks so much. So it looks like we kind of missed it a little bit, but Wolfman did his side quest with Paige right there with the little campfire, and they made s'mores out of the little Jigglypuff enemies. I forget exactly how that works, but so he's well on the way for that side quest.
Mm-hmm.
Kemps, it looks like, is handling the next phase of the traveling merchant. And is now going to be going into the palace. So watch how quickly he makes work of the palace. And it'll be interesting to see whether he stops and finds the defense tunic here as well. It's not too far out of the way, so I imagine he will want to check it.
You usually do see the pickup, because the defense tunic is right there, or the tunic is right there, and then the route through the dungeon brings you there. So it's like a 3-tile detour. And if it's something
it
like
literally takes you more time to menu through to figure out what the tunic is than to actually pick it up.
Yeah. And if you're like me, who in my sacrifice ending PB, that was where my speed tunic was, it is very good.
Nice.
I wouldn't have gotten sub 50 without it.
So, I just saw we have just met 7,000 $100 of our goal.
Yay!
Thanks
Awesome.
Thanks to everybody who's donated, including the $80 donation from Phase that pushed us to that amount. Bear, Velkswag, pushing the amount to the 7K mark. Let's keep raising these funds for Take This. Day 3 has been unbelievable, sending love to everyone. And that was the name of the protagonist in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Kaya. Yay!
Thanks so much for that. So Wolfman is going back into level 2 now. Do you know exactly why? Oh, it looks like Wolfman's starting on the bosses, it looks like.
Yeah, it's finally boss time after all this time. I believe Wolfman now has every side quest done, or at least a good portion of them. So Wolfman can take on some bosses and work on pacifying them with the power of compassion, which will help with more perfect ending criteria.
So for each of these bosses, what they're going to basically do is get the boss to be one hit away from the point where they would normally do the finishing blow. But instead of finishing the enemy, we'll instead use the power of compassion and say, we don't have to fight like this. And they leave peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
As we saw with Sandriel over on Wolfman's side of the screen.
Yeah. And one thing of note is that bosses in dungeons 4 through 8 have an additional second phase. And so for dungeons 2 and 3, because the boss of dungeon 1, Azrael here, is always the same. But namely for dungeons 2 and 3, you can find a boss that will not have its second phase attached to it. And Sandolphin, the one that was in phase 2 here, or the one that was in dungeon 2 here, is notably one of the longest in terms of its second phase. So finding it in the first the first 3 dungeons is really good, because it just kind of is luck that saves a minute.
Yeah, you're never going to get all of the bosses to be in their ideal states, but it looks like that's going to give Wolfman about a dungeon lead or so over Kemps at this point. But
Kemps is starting in level 3 in terms of bosses. Here's Catseal.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, speaking of nightmare fuel.
So the different order could be significant of something. Because I'm again not 200% sure if both of these racers have done absolutely everything. I could be.
Oh, the other thing I'm realizing is that Wolfman's in-game time is actually about, looks like 45 seconds or so further along than Kemp's. So even though it may look like Wolfman's a little bit ahead, he's not actually as far ahead as it looks, because we do this by in-game time, not clock time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool that they have a clock built in for it.
Yeah, a lot of modern games do that in order to sort of make them more cater towards the speedrunners who play them. And Tom, who's the lead dev for this game, is definitely very welcoming to speedrunners, and made an update early on in the game's development specifically to address some timing issues that folks in the speedrunning community have. So it's always great when you have a dev who really takes speedrunners' needs into account.
That's really cool, yeah.
It's the exception rather than the rule, but it's great when it does happen. So Wolfman is going to be dealing with the glitchy phase of Krabadon, who's the sort of like Goma-like boss that you need to shoot arrows in whatever that sprite is there. I'm not sure which.
It looks like a mask in 32-bit, but this is... I have no idea.
Kind of looks like the claws, only messed up.
Potentially.
We definitely don't have to fight like this.
Do not. And Kemp's now stepping into Krabadon, which Wolfman just finished.
So remember when we were saying before about how the jungle sprite set is a little bit trickier than the rest? Part of the problem is that you have all these screens filled with trees, so it doesn't. So once you get the glasses, it's a little bit harder to navigate.
Yeah.
So Wolfman, I don't know if he's going to be able to find a clear shot to the boss, but I don't think either of them fully discovered everything. So we'll see how this plays out.
Kemp's found the map, I believe. However, Wolfman did find the boss room very quickly. Wolfman, I believe, knows that the boss is, yep, right above him.
There you go. Yep. So this is Headrangel, or Headrangel, however you pronounce that, where you basically just throw things right at him and throw bits and pieces of his eyes and nose and teeth and random other body parts right back. So that's most of
Pleasant.
little bit of a gross boss fight, but
It's okay, I wasn't planning on sleeping anytime this decade.
great, because we're now about to go into the glitchy phase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who has time to sleep during a marathon run anyway?
This is true.
Oh, also, one thing you might have noticed is every time they are done with a boss, they'll collect the boss's reward and then warp back to the dungeon entrance and leave instead of waiting for the fade out after getting the dungeon reward. That is cutscene skipping right there.
Yeah, and when I started running this game, I learned very much the hard way that if you don't get that skip pretty perfectly, near on perfect, you can lose a significant amount of time sitting through the cutscene.
Yeah. It looks like... Okay, Wolfman finding the dungeon secret room in Dungeon 7, but it not being the item that you're usually looking for.
That's interesting because I believe he also checked 8 and 4, so I might be wrong about that, though. Wolfman definitely seems to be taking the strat where he's taking the extra time to track down that revolver. There's some not controversy, but mixed opinions in the community whether or not it's worth taking the time to find the revolver, which saves up about 2 minutes on a boss fight later, or to just go straight to the boss and take the 2 minutes. It sometimes is close to a wash which one is faster. So, yeah.
And here on Wolfman's screen, you're seeing something very funny with the boss Tentaluchus. By staying in like the exact middle of the screen, you see that phase after Tentaluchus gets hit where the drill rushes at you, ends very quickly. It usually lasts a lot longer. However, for some reason, standing at the very middle bottom of the room just kind of skips that phase.
So now we're under the flying saucer phase, where he just sort of hovers around like a... I don't know exactly what. And you just sort of have to wait for the right opportunity to toss a bomb. Oh, did you see on the left side? Kemp's found the revolver in level 5, the jungle level.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh!
So that's time save for Kemps right
That's
there.
huge. Because I think Wolfman did not
Yeah, I don't
look there at all.
think Wolfman has that.
Oh, whoa. Okay, so we might have just witnessed the race shift pretty dramatically.
Yep. That is definitely a big thing.
Okay, so now we're seeing Santaquel on Wolfman's side. Where you use your lighter and you just sort of melt him slowly but surely. Yeah, I don't have a gun emote either, but you can just imagine one.
Yeah.
I have a sword.
Works.
Close enough.
Yay!
Alright, so Wolfman's going into level 8, and here he's going to face Hatseal, which is, or what is it, Hatsaya? I always get the boss's
Yeah,
name.
Hatazaya.
Hatsaya, thank you. My bad. Who's the magician boss, where you have to actually use the glasses in order to be able to see her at various points.
This phase is funny because usually they're dropping a whole lot of enemies all at once, but by just standing under and pointing your sword to the left, you can not have to worry about the enemies hitting you. And as you might have noticed, when you're doing boss pacifying, you're not getting heart containers. So this whole run, they've been on 3 hearts.
Yeah, I think technically you can get the, put together 4 pieces of heart to assemble one, but realistically you're never going to see that in a speedrun.
Yeah.
Over at Kemps is having a little bit of a hard time with Tentalucas. Missed the skip there. Oh,
Yeah.
And now he has to wait for this animation where it bounces up and down and up and down and up and down, and well, you get the idea.
Yeah, there's that drill phase I mentioned that Wolfman was skipping in full effect. Very unfortunate when you missed that, but that looks good. Not gonna have it. Oh, is gonna have it happen twice. Okay, that was still shorter than usual. Very scary stuff going on over there, and now Wolfman has all 8 rewards from the bosses, and is able to create, I believe this one's the power of truth.
Yep, and he's doing that just about at the 50-minute mark in game time. So Wolfman's going to go back into the palace. Kemp still has a couple more bosses to find, but also keep in mind that by virtue of having the revolver, that's going to be a factor of 2 minutes in addition. So it's still significantly closer than it might appear to be.
For sure. As I think that level 7 is Kemp's 7th. Oh, okay, going back into level 6. It might be his 6. So we might have this one and then level 8. Meanwhile, Wolfman is on Gammon.
Yep.
Gammon.
Mammon.
Gammon. Something like that.
Something like that. You're seeing this fight go by pretty quickly. That's because you see when Wolfman gets punched, you just saw the bulls charging there. If you go approach Mammon to the point of being punched after the bull charging starts, it just skips the bull charging entirely. So if you get really up close and personal, it's very easy to just immediately skip that phase and make the fight a lot faster.
Yep. Now remember though, this is a video game. In real life, you don't want to get that personal. Please stay 6 pixels apart and wear your masks and all that. So, but in a video game, it's a little bit different.
Yes. The more you know.
Exactly.
And then we have Delvin. Who, with the 4 powers, we create a game cartridge. And then it gets taken from us, but we need it, so Delvin fight time.
Now, Wolfman's going to need to be very careful about his health because some of the damage that Delvin can do adds up very quickly when you're on 3 hearts. But with the defense tunic, it probably won't be as bad. But keep in mind that this whole Delvin fight is what Kemps will be able to basically just gloss right over with the revolver. So it might be a little bit closer. I don't know.
Closer, but I think Wolfman is still in the lead, per se.
Yeah, it's going to be his race to lose, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Their in-game timers are almost a minute apart.
Yeah. Even with that effect going on, though, I think it's still notably Wolfman is ahead. But the funny stuff is it's getting there.
Oh, now we're getting to the glitch phase. This is always one of my favorites where Delvin literally uses your own weapons against you. You see the symbols for the weapons fly across the screen, which I think is a pretty cool effect there.
Yep, okay, Wolfman
Getting out the potions. Very smart play.
has some potions to use and is making sure that he can get through the fight. Good use of the bomb arrow.
Too.
From my understanding, right now, Wolfman is in a sort of survival section, and the game will auto-kill him soon. You can see the glitches closing in, and once they close in, Wolfman can continue upwards to a fight against the Elder with infinite arrows and a lot going on. All the glitchy effects make it look very funny, but you get out of there soon.
Reminds me of my computer glitching in the day and trying to move windows across the screen.
Yep, I was gonna say something about solitaire or whatever I could think of.
Pre-cell.
Yeah.
The good old days.
And-
Yeah. Well, at least some of us are old enough to remember them, but yeah. So now I guess we're getting in the phase where the glitchy sprites fall at you or get thrown at you.
Yeah. Wolfman did a fight against Lance, the hero from the beginning, and now is playing as Lance, sort of, in this very weird section where you get attacked by this weird face that throws glitches at you for a very long time. You cannot do anything here except just dodge these projectiles, which, as you can see, Wolfman is Jumping.
Meanwhile, you just saw Kemps use the revolver to one-shot Delvin there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be getting a skip there, but I think it's going to be too little too late, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And there's
Well, you
Archangel Lenna. Kinda.
Or in this case, it's, I believe, just Archangel Azu, because that's our player name. And
Yeah.
you see two fights there. You see a fight where Lance loses, and then a fight where Wolfman loses the Archangel. And that is time for Wolfman. You can see at the top the in-game timer is stopped. 56:50.
It's a
GG.
great time. Sub-hour.
Sub-hour.
Comfortably sub-hour.
Yeah. I believe one of Wolfman's best times was set during a marathon, another marathon, which is really funny. But yeah, no, 56 is a very good time. Meanwhile, we have Kemps pretty early on into the very glitchy side of things, going up against the Elder right now. So basically has to do that same weird rush of bosses and dodging sections that you saw, that we talked about Wolfman going through while Kemps was doing the other final bosses. For the record, I guess, in the other endings this has, I believe both of us are a lot more fluent in the sacrifice ending, I think we mentioned, which is kind of the basic ending you'll get the first time you play this game.
My favorite is personally Catastrophe, which is the kind of like low percent or like just any percent the quickest to get an ending of any sorts. But yeah, no, it's the game definitely does have a lot of replay value because you can play it in different ways and try for different endings. And
the main thing I was gonna say was Delvin is the final boss of the other endings.
oh yes.
So that's where a sacrifice or catastrophe run would end. Meanwhile, you have all this stuff going on in Perfect. And we're gonna have Kemps
joined by Wolfman in chat. It was a really close race, definitely within a minute or two. Although you might be interested to know that Kemps actually found the revolver.
I'm going to take a guess. It was either in 4 or 5.
It was in 5, yes.
It was in 5. Oh, man.
And speaking of Kemps doing things, that is time for Kemps right there.
GG.
So now
GG.
both of our runners are done. Yeah, less than a minute and a half between you two. Very good job.
Kemps, did you hate getting to level 3 as much as I did?
It was pretty awful.
A lot of you guys, I noticed, made the same funny wrong turns on the overworld. I think both of you made that turn into Glitch City on your way to level 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you folks will have to watch the VOD. You'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did get to save Lance by accident, though. That was cool.
Well, when you get to watch the video, you'll wait. We talked before the race. Did you say it was saving Lance was faster than Elder, or Elder than Lance? I forgot.
Saving Elder is faster than not saving him, is what I said.
Watch my VOD.
Because of the way that arrows work. I'll watch your VOD. Okay.
That's not something we talked about, but yeah, that's not something we mentioned. All those NPCs we fought near the end, you can choose to save them in this ending. I'm not sure how that works, and I'm not sure what you two did for each of them, but there was a lot going on screen.
There is. All we will say is you don't need any special items to save the last 4. But otherwise, it's just, do you wish to show compassion to them? Hint, if you typically do want to save the Lance or the Prince if you ever do it casually. Chairman, not so much. Unless you want a Steam achievement.
I have
Apparently I don't manipulate the character right, I will learn that.
Anyway, according to chat, apparently I have an incentive to choose.
Oh yeah, we had a donation. I don't remember the exact amount, either $10 or $20 to the winner of the race.
It was 50, actually.
Oh, 50. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So Wolfman, you have an incentive that you can put some money towards.
Well, considering I also owe some money towards, the meteors I picked up, let's see. Okay, you know what? The amount of money that I've earned from post-winning, plus, I'll bump up the meteor total. Let's get the puppy cam going.
Yay, puppy cam!
Puppies?
Puppies?
Gargoyles Quest 2 post-run puppy cam is one of the donation incentives, and then later, Vani has another incentive for his big puppy.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
big puppy.
2 puppy cam incentives.
Oh, I only saw the first one for Gargoyles Quest, unless I missed it.
That's okay, the other one's right at the end of the marathon.
Okay. So, yeah, I am taking care of that right now, so consider that incentive closed, but there's still plenty more, and, of course, plenty more we can do to help out take this, so, you folks know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Thank you two for racing. It was a really fun race to commentate.
Hmm.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And
GGs.
shoutouts to this game. The designers of the game have been really receptive to the community. This is in its 11th iteration, and that all of the updates they've made have been amazing.
I still miss the stricter birds, though, as sad as that may sound.
I do miss not having to deal with birds.
Anyway, hopefully my donation just got through. There it goes. Wow, we just missed hitting 7K. Let's celebrate.
We hit 7K during the run.
Mm-hmm. It was wonderful. There was much rejoicing.
Well, I think I'm going to celebrate by having some dinner. So, yeah, there's not much to say about my donation. You can skip the reading it. Just keep on grooving. I'll stay safe. Let's keep it up, everyone.
Yay! Thank you both for the amazing race. Thank you, Lori and Tetrali, for coming in and commentating. Anything else you'd like to say before we,
Oh yeah, my username Tetchley actually, but
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me for commentating.
That's really all I have to say as well.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. And please stay tuned. We have an amazing panel set up from Take This with Dr. Kelly Dunlap, who is an ambassador. She's going to talk about the ambassador program. And if you want to get involved with Take This, which is an amazing mental health charity, you'll be able to ask questions and she'll give you the answers. So please stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the other runs we have coming up. We have Legend of Mana coming up later. We have Gargoyles Quest. We have Gauntlet 4. So all sorts of fun things planned for you tonight. Great to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, folks.